Good morning, Flosstube. This is Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is July 9th, and this is video 103, I think. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. Anyway, so somewhere north of 100. And it's such a beautiful day here in Oregon. It's a great day to shoot a video. It's been awesome weather and great times with friends and family. Just love the summer that's happening in my world. I hope you're having a great summer as well. Yesterday, let's see what's been going on. Last weekend, I went to, my husband and I went to a 4th of July get together with some friends. Then the next day, I had dinner / lunch with a couple of other friends, 2 other couples. We were invited to go to my friend Linda's house, and my friend Kim, she and her husband drove us, and I got to see their homes, and they're gorgeous, and they're full of cross stitch. So I can't wait to spend more time with those girls, and they're on an amazing retreat spree right now. So I hope they have a great trip. What else is going on? So yesterday, my mom and sister, brother-in-law, and 2 of my kids, we went out to breakfast. Then they came over later in the evening, and we had a little bonfire, had some, just, roasted some brats on the grill, and it's just, I love summer. I love summer. Now, today I'm wearing my new sweatshirt from Stitch Folk. Barry from Stitch Folk has some new products, some t-shirts and sweatshirts. It's a little on the warm side right now for me to be wearing a sweatshirt, but it's morning, and as soon as this video is over, I'm sure the sweatshirt's coming off. What else is going on? Gosh, just enjoying the weather. Todd's been working on the shop, and the siding is all done. He will start caulking, and we're going to paint. He's going to put concrete up. We have well drillers coming this next week. Prayers. Any prayers you want to say for us, we welcome. We just, water is so essential, and it's hit and miss out here. So we have other plans, plan B if it doesn't work out, but we're going to drill this week. And I think that's it. Hopefully, I like to drag my sewing machine out. I've been really wanting to sew. My husband's like, where are you going to sew? I'm like, there's one table in our room here. We live in a room in our shop in our tiny house. And there's one table in here. I said, I can just use that. Well, he's going to go to his mom's house this week with his brother and sister-in-law, and we're going to take care of all the rest of her goods. She moved into a smaller place, and he's like, we're going to need all the tables for putting stuff out. They'll have a garage sale / estate sale. And I'm like, well, can you just leave one little table? I just need one little table to sew on. So I think I talked him into that. Need to work on some project bags. I've got bins of those. So I think that's going to be something I'm going to do in the short term. Now, I have been stitching like a mad woman. Stitch, stitch, stitch. So what have I been stitching? Well, this is the most recent one I've been stitching on. It is Summer at Hollyberry Farm. You've probably seen this several times. This was a whip, and I think I shared with you that this was going to be a focus. Stacy Nash. I love the colors and the design elements on Stacy Nash patterns. This is stitched on 40 count espresso by R&R. And here is where I am. So the last time I showed this probably was in a whip parade, and I had done the border and the top letters, this motif, this motif, this motif, and I had just a little bit of the roof done. Just these little spires at the top, probably the top row stitching, and these little chimneys. So this time I started stitching the roof, and she has you stitch in a triangular pattern to kind of create motion and simulate what you might see as in terms of shingles on a roof. I did it a little different. I made diamond patterns, and I used the background colors walnut, and she has you just stitch with walnut. Well, I used Picnic Basket for the by Gentle Arts for the darker color. I didn't map it out first. I just started stitching it. It worked out pretty well. It's not perfect, but it shows enough motion that it accomplished what I wanted it to do. also the walnut, which is the main roof color, the lighter one, has a lot of variegation in it. So it's not perfectly, even in terms of color. And I like that about it because it adds that vintagey look to it, a little bit of a worn look to it. So I worked on that. That was a lot of stitching. That's a lot there. Then I did this, the flag. It looks like it's got a bend in the pole, but it's just my fabric is distorted a little bit, needs to be squared up. Then I've been working on the lower motifs here. So all I have is the bottom of the house, and that has the porch with bunting on it, a door, a couple of windows. It's not a ton. I mean, it's 100% solid, but it's about the same size as this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, yeah, it's about the same size. So that amount of stitching. I should have this one done on my next video. So this is Summer at Hollyberry Farm. I've had that on my Q-snap and working on that. I will put that back on and continue to work on it. Now I did change a few colors. I changed the red, the call for is Country Redwood, and I used Cranberry. Janine and I, Acorns and Threads, talked about the leaves in the pattern. There's a lot of leaves in that border. Calls for apple cider, which is more of a brown. It's a tiny bit green, but it's more of a brown. And she suggests, you could change that to something like chives if you wanted more of a green look. But I started stitching with the apple cider because it continues to give it that faded vintage look, which I love about this pattern. So I never did use the chives. There are a couple of colors on the house that are the light colors. I used all oatmeal. I didn't change any out. I think it calls for chalk in some places. I didn't do that. I just used all oatmeal. And I think that's it for color substitutions. So that one I've been working on. The first one I worked on after my last video is the Persuasion by the Stitching Parlor. This is a Jane Austen pattern, and it's part of the Jane Austen style that Annie B's Folk Art, Annie and her two daughters, Chelsea and Belle, started doing this. I think they've given up on it though. But this is available. You can get this through Acorns and Threads. After my last video, I think some people asked where they could get it, or maybe it was an Instagram post and I sent them over there, and I think Janine has it on reorder. These are all available. So Clara Blaylock is the designer with the Stitching Parlor, and I had reached out to her because I couldn't find the pattern. She said, oh, they're available. Just need to reorder them. Okay. So I have been cooking on this. I had a really hard time putting this down and switching projects because it is so much fun to stitch. And look at the tulips on that border. Wowza. I went ahead and put the year in this time. I don't know if it was in there last time, but I just went for it. I'm like, I'm going to finish it this year. I think I may have put that in last time. I can't remember. Anyway, so I finished all of this section here, and that's a lot of stitching. Now, there are some colors. This pattern is an older pattern. There are some color changes. So let me tell you what I did. The blue water in the pattern, it looks, if you look at this section here, that blue, it's blue, right? In the pattern, it calls for Tropical Ocean by Gentle Arts. This is Tropical Ocean, not the same color. So I changed it to Blue Bonnet by Weeks. And then the wake, there's another color in the ocean that shows where the chips have been. I used Blue Suede by Weeks for the wake. So those are the two changes I have made. I think everything else is the same. Oh, I did make a couple because I can't remember what kind of fabric this is, but it's light. So I did, where there was a seagull here and up in the sky and over here, I changed it to a very, very light DMC gray. I don't remember what color that was. Maybe it's right here. Yes, it's right here. Hold on. It is 3072. So that is Persuasion. I will be working on this as soon as I'm done with summer at Hollyberry Farm. I'm going to do this band next, which includes that big house, the peacocks. Oh, I did change something. The yellow in here, these waves were yellow. And I stitched, I think last time I had stitched them, one of them yellow. And when I looked at it later, from a distance, it just doesn't show up. Up close it does, but from a distance, it does not show up. It's the stems on the flowers, which you could probably barely see in the video, but you can see in person. So I changed that to Tropical Ocean. And in this part I'm going to stitch here with the cartouche, it says Elliot for Anne Elliot, the main character. I'm going to change that to Tropical Ocean also. I love this one. Love it. So that was one that I stitched on. And let's see, let me move stuff out of the way here. I have a new start. Actually, I'm going to talk about one more little whip. I didn't put much in, but I put a tiny bit in. That is the ER 1821 sampler by Samplers. Hold on, please. Samplers Remembered. I got this at the attic a couple of years ago when we went to summer school, and look at the colors on this. They're so luscious. They're so pretty, samplerish colors. So we're just the tiniest little bit on the bottom row, starting with putting in those little flowers. So I stitched this in hand. It's 40 count, so you have to be careful not to distort the fabric too much. But I have an idea. I was maybe not going to stitch this, and I changed my mind and I decided I was going to finish stitching it. And I do have an idea of what I want to make out of it. It's not going to be a wall hanging. It's not going to be framed. But I am looking forward to what I'm going to do with that. Seeing it done. Okay, let's tuck that in there. I end up with little bags like this that are left over. And I'm like, what does that go to? I don't know. Then the last one is a new start. And this was with, oh, I know that goes with this. That's what it goes with. This is a Paulette Stewart Plum Street Samplers Summer Moon. And my girlfriends who went to my friend Marcy's house last year in the summer, my video called Stitching in the Castle covers our adventures. And at Marcy's house, well, we decided to start this after the Farm Girl retreat this spring. So Paulette was the guest designer. She brought new releases, older patterns, and we all bought this and are stitching it. So I am stitching this on 40 count pecan butter by Lakeside. I got my fingers on some. And this is the start that I have. Now, this is addictive. Every whip I have, I want to stitch on like nonstop. And I would say this is more than half the width at this point. Well, actually, no. This repeat here goes on the other side. So that's as wide as it will be, probably right here. And I would say it goes up to about this high. So it's not, dimensionally, it's not huge, but look at the full coverage there. However, I'm not mad about it because these colors are phenomenal. Now, none of them are on a ring. I had to go to my sister's house to get my spool cabinet because all my rings were in there. So that was a new start, and I'll continue to be working on that in August. So many good stitches. So many good things left to stitch in the world. Now, I thought I would show you some Patriotic whips. We're past 4th of July, but I really like stitching the month of July on Patriotic, and July is almost away from us, which is crazy. Some of these are just summer stitches, and some of them are more patriotic. I did a Stitch Mania, I want to say it was probably 2019, and I did all patriotic starts. I've done a lot of them. There's 31. I'm down to a half dozen. I have 2 I'm going to give away today in my video, so stay tuned. But I thought I would just show you what I've got left. And truly, I haven't stitched much on most of these. So when I'm picking them up, I'm really working on finishing them, which means I've got a lot of stitching to do on each one, but I love them. I love them. There's another pattern that I have that I've been stitching on that it is really calling to me, but I'm going to continue to work on the whips I've got kind of on a rotation. And then I'm going to go, once I get a finish, I'm going to pivot to that one. I'll tell you what it is in a future video. So here are some Patriotic whips. American Sampler. You've probably seen a lot of people stitch this. It's such a lovely stitch. Again, Paulette with the brick houses. Scrumptious. Love it. I think these are pretty much all the called for colors. It's not, you can tell by the size of my fabric, it's not huge, but it is, again, a full coverage. And that's as far as I am on this one. This looks like a 40 count vintage navy bean. If I were to just look off what it looks like in person, I would say that it looks, that's probably what this is, although I would have to go look at my spreadsheet to verify. And look at the red. Isn't that fantastic? So there's that. There's American Sampler, and that could be a focus next year. I have several that I keep looking at thinking, oh, I just want to stitch this one. All the good things. As my friend Brenda would say, stitch what you love. All right. The next is, I think this was a Dying to Stitch club piece. It's been released. It's by Blackbird. It's called The Clustered Stars. And this is not a small pattern. You would think looking at that picture that it's small, but it's not. This is it's not huge, but this is as big as it is. That is, I think, the front. Yep. I've done no stitching inside the border. I have the border done on that one. However, look at this. The inside, so you have to stitch some stuff on the inside too. And also inside, you use this flag for finishing. So I am obsessed with this. I think you might tea dye this if I remember correctly when I looked at the pattern. But again, this will be one that I'm sure once I start, I won't want to stop. So I'm going to leave that one for now. But boy, that one will be a fun one to stitch when I get to it. I want to say somebody, it might have been Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. She had this on her list. She might have started this. Now, if you haven't watched Olivia, she is starting all the things. And I am here for it. Like her videos, the last two videos where she just started a zillion things, I just can't stop watching. I'm trying to stitch and I just had to put things down like, what is she starting? And I'm like, oh, I have that whip. Oh, I want to start that. I don't have all the things. I need to just chill, Lisa. Okay, just relax. But my heart starts to palpitate. I'm like, oh, I want to stitch that. Here's one that she had. This is Your Grand Old Flag by Samplers Not Forgotten. And this one, my friend Donna and Jean and I started together when we were at Country Sampler. I think this is vintage pearl barley. Look at the beautiful, beautiful fabric. Now, this is my start, and we did a silk conversion because Country Sampler was clearancing out at that time their Belle Soie. So and they had them in big packs, and they were very reasonable. So we bought 2 or 3 packs each and did a conversion. So when I'm done with this, if you want to know what it is, I'll tell you. I'll certainly post it, but I'm not working on it quite yet. But darn, when I look at that, I want to be stitching it. It is so pretty. Oh, yes. When I start stitching my whip and I pick it up, sometimes I just go to Instagram and put in what I think would be a hashtag for it, because other people have done stitch alongs, and I just love to go look and see what the projects look like. People have finished and posted. So like, You're a Grand Old Flag Sal. That's probably what I would put in there. Or Grand Old Flag Sal. Or maybe hashtag Samplers Not Forgotten. And then you start to see some of these beautiful pieces. Okay. This is Merrily Beams Prize Your Liberty. And this is the original pattern by Marilee Beams. McKenna from 1884 Stitchery has reproduced this also, so you can get this pattern from her. And I am obsessed with this. Like when I got this, a viewer sent it to me. I was so ecstatic. And this is how much I've done. Shameful. I need to get back to this. I want to say this is like an antique linen, just as Weigart antique linen. I don't know that there's any kind of an over dye on it. And it's such a soft, beautiful fabric. So I am looking forward to getting back to that one. Also in this bag of whips is by Liberty Sampler by the City Stitcher. Now look at that house. Huge, big. And again, a tiny little start on this. I want to say I converted it to some silk. Some of it's not the original colors, but I did mark the top because this is one of those where you're like, what direction? Where's the top of this? So I did put a couple stitches in at the top. That is another one. That maybe I'll work on these two together next year and just start building houses. That's a potential. I could be doing that. All right, I guess that's, yes it is, it's all in there. I do like my setup here. The bed's in front of me where you can't see it, but I can just shove stuff over there. It's fantastic. Now this isn't, I don't know if you call this looks patriotic to me, but it's not exactly patriotic. It looks like quilts, right? And the star, maybe the star motifs on quilts are what, to me, draw it in as a patriotic type of a sampler. I don't know where all my threads went. And I do have a couple of the DMC colors are really close. So I need to do a little problem solving with this. So that could be why I haven't gotten back to it. You can see a little more contrast on the camera, but in person, it's not that much. So I need to reevaluate if I've got the right colors there. And until I do that, I won't probably be stitching on that one, although I love it. It's a beautiful sampler. And then last in this group is Summer at Cherry Hill. Brenda Gervais gets me every time. Now, my little bees, and then this is the way it goes, right? So the ABC is at the bottom here. My little bee skep really kind of blends into the green grass, but it does on hers too when I looked at the pattern. And I think I'm going to be okay with that. I want to say this is maybe 40 count sand by Picture This Plus. I'd have to look at my spreadsheet to see. You know, I used to remember what it was, what fabrics I picked, but I had so many whips. I gave that up. All right, we're zipping along today. Now, I have a little bit of haul, not a lot, but so Lori Textilist, my friend, she sent me pictures of a fabric line. I think the designer's out of Australia. That's where you can buy it. It's hard. You have to pay shipping on fabric is expensive, and the line was a little expensive. And I looked at it for days, and I decided to go ahead and buy some fabric. This is by, let me see. What is the name of this line? It's like La Etienne, and it's Devonstone. Here. You can screenshot that if you want to try and find it. Yes. It's sort of a toile look, but you could certainly do some fussy cutting with this and use it in a quilt. I didn't buy a ton of it because it was pretty expensive, but I did buy a fat quarter bundle, and that is en route. So you can see how pretty that is. It's gorgeous. I have a fabric problem. and a cross stitch problem. Well, I guess define the word problem, right? Let's be honest. It makes me happy. As soon as Teresa Kitten Stitcher posted this, I bought it as fast as I could. So this is Stars and Stripes. It is a collaboration between Paulette at Plum Street and Teresa Kitten Stitcher. It is called Stars and Stripes, and it just absolutely ticks all the boxes for me. I believe Paulette designed this one, Teresa designed this one, and then you get that big ampersand in the middle. So you could easily stitch this as one piece, right? It says stars on the side and stripes on this side. Awesome, awesome, awesome pattern design. I love Patriotic stitching, and I would love to start this one. I'm just going to pause on it. Now, Teresa has had to close her shop temporarily because she's dealt with a family emergency, and when she's done with that, she will, I'm sure, reopen. Also, I bought this fabric because it's luscious. It is 40 count spiced apple donut. And her son made this one. Look at the color on that. Oh, look at this blob over here. Fantastic color. Love it. And this is from her book, Humble Hands. That's her cover page, I think, on her book. So I bought that, and she put a tomato sticker with it, which I love. Now, Jen from Jen Stitching Niche, I watch her Instagram. She has an Etsy shop, and she will run sales occasionally. So when I see her post something, I go over to her site and see what I can buy. So she had Christmas. She had some things that were on sale that were Christmas related, and I bought this from October House. Isn't that sweet and simple? And so she does a lot of these skinny pillows, which I love. She also did this one, All is Calm, All is Bright. All is Calm, I guess is what it's called. And that's October House. I saw someone post this. Oh, Linda Jo from Pretty Southern. She had bought this from someone, I can't remember, but I'm like, I need that. So I picked up that. And then Jen had this is a Christmas strawberries. I have this, my friend Kim from Canada. She stitched these for me in exchange, but she did the Patriotic ones. And I love them. She's amazing. Also, I picked this up, Tomato Row. I think I bought one of them twice. I intended to buy Tomato Row, and I bought a different one. Bought it twice. So it'll be in a future giveaway. Okay, so I do have giveaways here. This is going to be kind of a short video, which I like, right? The first one is Heartstring. This is Flag Day at Twin Gables. It was a Dime to Stitch retreat piece. And I have a zillion Patriotic pieces. Probably I'll be stitching more in the future, but I'm just going to let this one go. It's been started. There's not a ton done on it. It's been started. It won't take too long. It has all the threads. And so if you would like this kit, please write the word flag. The second one, it's a companion one. It says, Some Gave All. Similar look to it. Very much goes together. This one also kit. And it's been started, although, let me see how much I've done on this one. Hang on. Oh, I did a center start on this one. Again, haven't done a lot. So if you would like this one, just write gave. Some gave all. Write the word gave. I've got lots of giveaways. So I have finished this one and showed it on a previous video. And this is by The Blue Flower. It's called When Lilacs Bloomed. If you want to see my finished piece, I think it was two videos ago. If you'd like this pattern, it's called Lilac. The pattern is fine. The bag's a little bit like, I don't know what happened. Maybe the cat chewed on it. I also finished this one and showed it on the last video. It's Blue Ribbon Samplers. This is Proud and True. If you would like this one, please write true in your response. I have a duplicate of this one. It's a blackbird called Mildred's House. And I love this one. I might change some colors when I stitch this one. If you would like this one, write house. And I have this one I have a duplicate of, Down in the Valley. This is a little Reward of Merit, I think. A little tiny pattern. If you would like this one, write Valley. Here's a big one. This is European Reproduction Samplers. This is Forget Me Not. And this one, this is that, I'm trying to think, maybe it was like 3 or 4 videos ago that I finished it. It's pretty long. It's a good size sampler. If you would like this one, write Forget. And the last thing I have is an unclaimed bag from a previous giveaway. I picked winners twice from that video. I'm just not going to go back to that video anymore. But this is the fun. This is a Tula Pink bag. And the inside is also Tula Pink. It's awesome. I love it. If I don't give this away on this video, I'm just going to keep it. And then there is a pretty zipper pull on this one. If you would like this one, write pink. So let's think of a good question for you. Let's see. So my question is, tell me your favorite summertime activity and why you like that so much. Yes. So here we are. I think that's it for now. Hopefully I'll be back on my schedule every 2 weeks. I was pretty true to that this time. If you're a winner, please email me. I'll put my email box in the drop down below. But you won't know that until the next video when I draw winners. So disregard that. I'll wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate you. And thank you all for your kind comments. I just want to do a shout out to Priya. Thank you for watching my videos, Priya. Even though you're not a stitcher, but you like the relaxation in my voice, I appreciate it. And hope you all have a great weekend. We'll see you later.